Hey, g'day guys, it's Calvin, Coaching Company in New Zealand. I'm setting up Ricky's van today. We're going to adjust the idle speed, but first what I'm actually doing is saving a second copy of the tune. So what I've got here is I've got the base file. It's what it came in with, what's sitting with right now, and I'm doing an adjustment. Now I've changed nothing, but when I go save to the laptop, it's going to save it to the second one, so I've still got a copy of the first. Okay, we're going to pretty much attach to the ECU and start the van straight away because this one's got an annoying buzzing noise. And what we're going to be looking at is we're going to be looking at some idle speed. Now we're working on the G4 Plus platform. G4X is the same concepts, but there are a few different settings. And that's the base idle, and this is the target. So we're targeting 1,000. We go through 950s, 850, 850, and then down to 750 through here. Okay, and I'm going to just adjust that a bit more. I'm going to bring this one down. So I'm going to make it in 25 RPM increments to start with. And then I'm going to go 50 RPM increments. And because I think it'll handle that lower idle speed just fine, and that looks a bit nicer. I'm going to save that to the ECU, store it to the ECU, and I can't store it to the ECU because I haven't started it. Okay, so what it'll do when we go to connect, it'll ask if the settings are different, and we're going to save those into the ECU. We are going to look at the TPS setting. That is really, really important. So we're going to turn the key on. I'm going to set that TPS, calibrate it properly because that's vital that it's correct. Otherwise the idle speed will go out the window. And we're going to look here at the idle speed control. There's no speed lockout. This vehicle doesn't have a speed input into the ECU. Deadband of 30, so that's how much of the range. So if I've set it to 800, it'll stop at 830 or 770. Lockout 500 above the target, it will lock it out. And the TPS lockout, I actually find a 1.5 works better for the UZs. That's just why they are. Sometimes there's a little bit of a hang in them, but I don't like. There's no AC. Startup tables. 5, 5, 5, 10. It's quite a lot. I'm just going to put them all to 5. Oh, don't mind me. I'm going to make them all 5. Right. As I said, I'm going to turn the key on. I'm going to connect. It should ask me if the settings are different. Yes, I do. And there's that buzzing noise. And I'm going to save these, store these to the ECU. It's going a bit slow. Here we go. Right. Now we're going to calibrate that TPS. Now if we look on tuning, what have we got the TPS at? TPS is set up. Looks okay, but I'm going to set it anyway. Fully open. Okay. Okay. Store that setting. Now, runtime values, analog. Here is our TPS voltage right there. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to slowly depress it and check that it's quite linear in its movement. Notice the Toyotas 3.71. That's pretty normal that they don't go much above the 4 volts. If you get above 4 on Toyota, it's especially the older stuff, it's kind of rare. But that is linear and nice. Okay, so I'm happy with that. We go to auxiliary functions. And so this is where we're going to be looking at a lot of information. There's your target RPM. There's the actual idle position and the status, depending where you live in the world. Right, this van's also got a problem where it's locked up and it's managed to get air into the cooling system. So I'm trying to do 2 jobs at once. Okay, guys, 2 at once. But and especially this video, especially dedicated to Scott in the USA. He made his vehicle run for the first time yesterday. We've been playing around and trying to sort it from over here. I didn't wire it, I'm helping him out, but it is now up and running, which is fantastic. Right, it's out of gear, let's go. Okay, it hit the numbers straight away. Now it's decreasing the idle, so I'm going to go here, and that's already starting better. This one actually had an issue where it would hang. Could have been that startup step being very high. So, oh, look at that, just dropped off, didn't it? Oh, it doesn't have what I want. Right, we're going to find the base idle settings. And we look here. Now the other thing to also look at, I'm just going to go over this one, is your mixtures. Now this vehicle, it's got an oxygen sensor, but it doesn't have a CAN lambda in it. You see it's doing something a bit funny, that's not doing what it should. So there's the lockout, the RPM lockout, and see it sits way too high, so it's hanging. Okay, so that tells me we've got a sticky throttle cable, sticky idle speed control unit, sticky throttle body. There's something else going wrong because we hit that lockout. So it does have another problem. Good to know. So I'm going to stop here. I'm going to go address that other issue that needs to be sorted. Right guys, we're back. Right, I'm going to connect into that ECU again. There's that buzzer. That's what happens. Now I thought about throttle body. I thought about throttle cable, but of course if I check, and I check that throttle position sensor there, there's no sticking there. I actually unplugged the idle speed control unit and it dropped down. So either the ECU wasn't commanding it right, or that throttle idle speed control is sticky. Right, we've also cooled down. I've been doing some cooling system stuff. Let's get this thing going. So these are my base idle settings, my runtime values, and auxiliary functions. There's my target, and there's my setting. Let's go 33.5. Of course, you can just enter these in by hand, or you can page up, page down. Right, so I'm going to do a bit of setting here. Now, often getting time to check these vehicles when they come in can be tricky. So if I push the right buttons, we've got a 33 there, so this one's probably going to be less than 33. And what we're doing is we aim, once the little square there, you see the little yellow lines are right in the middle of that zone. So when it's taking very little off each of them, we're going to set that number. But I kind of want to guess, because if we're coming along, we've got 33 and 36 and it interpolates between the two of them, it's going to give a number higher than 33. So I'm also going to take the rest of these and I'm going to do 33. And this can be quite a boring job, but it's a good time if you're need a cup of tea, have a cup of coffee, and I don't drink them very often. I don't drink coffee at all. That we can get in and do that. Take your time just to let it go through and do the adjustments that are required. And I often set them just a smidgen higher than the actual position going through, and that gives a little bit of anti-stall. There are of course anti-stall settings in here. Now of course there are some fan settings as well. So when the fan comes on, there's some fan settings where they can be viewed here. There. There'll be a fan step. So anyway, we'll go through these while we're here. Minimum clamp, maximum clamp is the maximum allowed opening for that idle speed. Minimum is the minimum, and here's our fan step, is 5. We want to make that the least number to give a nice idle, and hopefully it's not like a big kick when it comes in. Now if things are going too small there, or too fast or too slow, you can change the derivative and the proportional, and there is our anti-stall. And that is quite a big number for this setup, so I'm going to drop that down. And this is the other stuff you can be doing while the vehicle is running. This one unfortunately doesn't have a wideband. I would really like to be able to look at some mixtures as well. .6. Seat's climbing up a little bit. Now sometimes you do have to do this a few times just to get it bang on, go through the heat cycles properly. Of course, as I said, cold start will make a difference, cold start fueling. Ideally you have the tune done, so the main tune is done. So don't stress if you just get them close enough, go into the dyno, get it tuned, then pop back and go over them again. That's looking pretty good actually. Right, and of course wait till the fan pops on and get some numbers that are about close. I also sometimes do this via logging. And as you see, there's something else going on with this van that does need to be addressed a little bit, because that van's actually a little bit poppy right there. So that of course will affect what you're setting up. In which case I'm going to go back to what I was doing, and I'm just going to throw 34 in there. I hope that gives a pretty good rundown of what we're doing. It's a bit slow sometimes, it's a bit boring. Taking the time to set up the stuff and make things idle nicely is really helpful. It makes the vehicles much nicer. So I hope that's been helpful. I'm going to finish off the setting, do the fan, check the cooling system, and we'll talk again soon. Hey, catch you later.